So yeah, Rob, what got you into 9/11 Truth?
It was a friend of mine told me about this documentary, Loose Change. Told me about how there were sort of inconsistencies with the 9/11 Commission, and it sounded interesting. So I watched it on Google, and it really opened my eyes. At first I thought I didn't want to believe the government would do such a thing, but then once you do the research, that's the important thing. Just do the research for yourself, and you can see stuff like Operation Northwoods, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, that it's not such a ludicrous thing to think could happen. And when you do the research about the physics as well, and you see how and why the towers fell in the official story, and how that actually works out the laws of physics and the laws of gravity, you can't defy those laws really. So I think there needs to be a new investigation, and that's how I got into the 9/11 Truth movement. Went on the internet, found some very great like-minded people. They're all doing a good job, and I hope it continues, I hope it gets bigger. We just need to open more people's eyes. I mean, the 7/7 incident as well, some inconsistencies in that story as well. And then you think of all the liberties we're losing as a result of the terrorist acts they're bringing in to those incidents, which, you know, we're not 100% sure what actually happened that day due to their ludicrous versions of their official story. So I think when I see things like the ID cards coming in, and like a national database of our identities and stuff like that, because of these incidents, when we don't know 100% that it was these alleged terrorists, it makes me angry to see. So that's why I don't, you get called conspiracy theorist, and like people say, oh, you think aliens were there on 9/11, and I don't believe any of that. I only believe in rational science, and that's why I believe things I believe.
I think that's very sensible.
Thank you.
So, like, has it made you live your life any differently, or?
Yeah.
From sort of maybe from your lifestyle or your religious beliefs, if you have any, or?
In terms of religious beliefs, I was I went to a Christian school, was brought up Christian. That's when I first started to question what I was taught. They rammed it down your throats, and they didn't really give you, like most things, they didn't give you much room to think for yourself. It was, this is what you've got to believe, so go and believe it. And I didn't agree with that way of life, and a good few of us didn't, thankfully. In terms of my religious beliefs now, I don't really have any as such. I try and follow a Buddhist ethic where I'm kind to everyone. Apart from that, it's made me not take everything at face value anymore. Especially in terms of what the media tells you. I used to work for the Daily Mail in the editorial systems, like just computer work. I had no say what went in the paper, unfortunately. I wish I did now though. And yeah, you do when you read what goes into the media, and then you go on the internet and you do the research, you see what actually happens yourself. You can see how 90% of what we're told is the media manipulating stories, and this is why you should just do the research for yourself. Whatever you read in the paper, don't take it at face value and absolute fact, because more often than not, it's not.
So you were, you're working for Accenture?
Yes, my name's Amanda Andrew, and I work for Accenture and as a PA. And I've recently written to my employer about withholding my tax. I was advised through Chris Coverdale that it is actually illegal to pay tax in this country due to the fact that we've gone to war. It's illegal to pay towards genocide, which is essentially what's happening in Iraq. So I no longer want to give my money to the government. So I wrote to my employer and basically told them the laws that I was advised of. And I received a message back from them saying that they are legally obliged to deduct the tax from my salary, okay? And they said that's what they have been advised by their lawyers, so external lawyers for Accenture. So obviously I wasn't happy with that, I wasn't happy with the outcome, so I wrote back to them and said I want to have a meeting to discuss this further, and I reiterated the laws. So anyway, on Monday the 8th of September, I had a meeting with the HR director, and I asked her for proof from the external lawyers if that's what they had said. She said, I will go back to the lawyers and ask them if they can give it to us, but we might not be obliged because it's confidential. And yesterday I received an email saying exactly that, saying the lawyers will not disclose that information to a lowly Accenture employee, basically. So I'm now going to respond again, saying I want proof that that's what the lawyers have said. Because they could be making that up for all I know. She could be just fobbing me off, and I do feel like I've been fobbed off. Just, so she doesn't have to deal with it. Now, Accenture have a policy on ethics, which we all have to do training in. All employees of Accenture have to train. It's called the Accenture Code of Business Ethics. In that business policy, it says, as an employee, if you know of anything untoward going on within society, anything unlawful, you have a responsibility to report this to us, okay? And they will have to investigate it. So, Sam, all is not lost. The director did say to me, you need to go down the ethics policy route. So that's my next step. The HR director did say this is brand new and no one has ever come to her, but it might in other countries have happened, just definitely not in the UK. So the thing is, I think it just takes one person in society to make a change. Maybe I'll be that person. If I can keep going with this, I want to see how far I can push it, basically. And it takes guts, because all you have to know is that you are upholding the law, and they can't sack you for it. It says in the ethics policy, we won't sack you for this. So it's just a case of keeping going.
Good on you.
Hopefully we'll get somewhere. Watch this space, basically.
Before I got into 9/11, I didn't know the reason. I mean, I knew the media was obviously biased and you only get propaganda, but I didn't realise it was the way it's controlled. Let's just say 9/11 opened up a whole can of worms, because it's like, well, that happened and that must have happened. They've got to be in somewhere.
But it's been blocked at every instance where people try to question it and try to bring
Oh, well,
have the case reopened and re-examined and
well,
so
they're
on.
immediately ridiculed. I mean, they're immediately, you even question 9/11, you're a mad conspiracy theorist. Even if you just wanted a proper investigation, never mind about bombs in the building, whatever. You just ask for a proper investigation, then you're mad. And what's wrong with asking for an investigation? When the last one was so obviously corrupt and didn't answer like none of the questions, why are we mad? Why are people mad because they just want a good investigation?
And it's to do with us. We ourselves just do the censorship. So if I tell you about this 9/11 and you say, are you mad? And then next time I'm scared, I better not be speaking about that, because people will think that I'm mad, and that all this restriction and self-limiting that goes on.